Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I'm going through every single matchup of the Week 8 slate and going over all the wide receivers, whether you should start or sit them in their given matchup. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor and my friends at OverlayDFS.com. Alright guys, so how Overlay DFS works is all you have to do is make 12 simple start-sit decisions. Are you going to go with Russell Wilson versus Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, or Tom Brady? Who is going to score the most points in that matchup? All you got to do is make 12 picks. It is that simple. So now I'm going to go about how I do it. What I typically do is I like to go for games in here where there are stacks. So say in this game, you see at the wide receiver position, I think DeAndre Hopkins scores more than Michael Thomas, per se. So I go with Deshaun Watson as well. Now you have stacked them. It's like in those other DFS sites where you stack the players. I'm going to stack those players because I believe they are going to do great together. Now, with this, I'm going to make a total of 12 total picks plus 3 alternate picks. Now, the way this works is it used to be a single entry GPP. Now, in these, you can add up to 10 maximum entries, and the top 10% win 9 times your buy-in. It is actually amazing. And then if you hit that beautiful 12-0, you can get the progressive bonus in the $2 game of over $3,000. Now, if you're playing in some of those bigger games, the progressive bonus is over $27,000. That is going to be huge for you to hit if you can hit that, and I think you can. Now, you guys are going to come play against me, come compete with me. Let's see who's smarter, me or you. Likely is going to be you. So let's play together. Let's hit that 12-0 record bonus there, and the stars are going to align, and it's going to be amazing for you. Let's have some fun this week. Check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. You're going to have a great time. Play the rest of the video now. And we are back. Week 8 wide receiver start or sit decisions. The first game here is the Thursday night matchup between the Redskins and the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is going to be a bloodbath given by Mr. Kirk Cousins in a revenge game. I'm going to be starting up Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry of the Redskins. Now, last week, I know he shit the bed for your team against the 49ers. Last week, he didn't play too hot, but it was raining far too much in Washington for Terry McLaurin to succeed. This game is in a dome in Minnesota. The rain will have no factor on Scary Terry in this game, and I think he has a huge comeback like his name was Johnny Manziel. I think in this game, Terry McLaurin goes balls deep into the Vikings defense. If you want to know who else is going to be going balls deep in this game, Stephon Diggs. If Adam Thielen does not play, Stephon Diggs is going to have a monster game against the Redskins defense. The Redskins defense is terrible. Kirk Cousins has looked great, and I think that he is going to have the fury of the fantasy football gods invested into the man, and he is going to throw fucking dimes against the Redskins defense. Stephon Diggs will be in for a monster game, and if Adam Thielen somehow resurrects to play on Thursday Night Football, I would also be starting him, but I would be cautious because he may just end up being a decoy. Next game here is the Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to be starting up Mr. Tyler Lockett in this game, as well as DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett seems like in every single week start, Tyler Lockett has been dominating in all these games. A touchdown machine. Clearly, Russell Wilson loves throwing the ball to Mr. Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf, on the other hand, is obviously much more of a flex option, but you know, against the Falcons defense, he may even be a wide receiver 2 this week because the Falcons defense is god-awful. They are a JV defense, and as I like to say, they might be a good in for a good old skull fuck, and I am all in on the Seahawks this week. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf in for some huge games. Now, the Falcons, as I'm recording this, I am not entirely sure if Mr. Matty Ice is playing in this game. If Matthew Ryan is not playing in this game, Julio Jones gets an eh. Okay, so you can still play him. He's got the you play him, and I mean, he's still going to be like a guy that you would think would be like a top 5 guy, may end up shitting the bed, being a top 20 guy. But Calvin Ridley, if Matt Ryan is out, there is no way in hell I am starting Calvin Ridley this week. I am way too nervous with good old Matt Schaub at the quarterback position. Next game here is the Chargers at the Chicago Bears. I'm going to be starting up Keenan Allen in this matchup. I do like Keenan Allen for the Chargers due to the fact that Keenan Allen has not had all that great of the last couple weeks. But against the Bears defense hasn't looked that good in the past couple of weeks. I think Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers have a bounce-back game. And for the Bears, I'm going to be starting up Allen Robinson. A-Rob has been successful, even with Kiss and Titties Trubisky looking terrible, even with Case Keenum looking, and by Case Keenum, I mean Chase Daniels looking terrible. I think Allen Robinson can still produce. Obviously, if Allen Robinson had a competent quarterback, a skilled quarterback, he would probably be phenomenal in the NFL. But right now, even with Kiss and Titty Trubisky, I think Allen Robinson should be fine. I'm going to be sitting down Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams keeps getting banged up every single week, getting thrown around by every single team. And against the Bears defense, like I said, they haven't looked like their past, but they should still be fine to stop Mike Williams. I don't really like Mike Williams at all this week. I think he'll be in for a down game. Next game here is the Giants at the Detroit Lions. I'm going to be starting up a lot of guys in this game. Now, if Sterling Shepard somehow miraculously plays in this game, the coach has not yet ruled him out. I would play him. The Lions defense hasn't looked all that great. And I'd also be starting Golden Tate in this game. Even Golden Tate, we saw 2 weeks ago, absolutely eat against the Patriots defense. The Lions defense isn't even that good. I think Golden Tate should be in for a good and consistent game. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones are also starts for me. Obviously, Kenny Golladay shit the bed last week. He needs his Huggies because he did not perform last week how you would personally like him to have performed. He scored like 3 fucking points. Marvin Jones, on the other hand, went balls deep into the defense and scored 4 fucking touchdowns. Marvin Jones had the game of his century, the game of his life, and I think that comes more down to earth this game against the Giants. I think Kenny Golladay obviously gets more involved, but Marvin Jones is definitely a guy that I could see myself flexing this week. He definitely has that good old flex appeal. Next game here is the Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to be starting Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder for the Jets, and I'm also going to be starting the ghosts in that game because Sam Darnold is going to be throwing the ball to some fucking ghosts because that motherfucker can't find anyone real on the goddamn field. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would think Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder could have somewhat of a bounce-back game here. Obviously, there are no 9,000 New England defenders on the field in this game to stop them. Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder should be fine, but they're more of the because I think Sam Darnold still might be in a funk, still might be seeing some ghosts in this game, so I'm not necessarily too onto them. On the Jaguar side of the ball, though, I love DJ Chark this week. The Jets defense did not look to stop anyone against the Patriots, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop Mr. Baby Chark this week. Obviously, DJ Chark took a bit of a downfall to D.D. Westbrook last week, but I think this week it gets back to normal, and Baby Chark is the number 1 wide receiver on the Jacksonville Jaguars. But D.D. Westbrook is still definitely worthy of a start against the Jets defense. Clearly, Minshew doesn't mind throwing the ball D.D.'s way, and I'm going to be sitting down Chris Connolly. Next game here is the Bengals at the Rams, and I'm firing up everyone on all cylinders. Bang, 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 bang. Tyler Boyd got the next to him because of the fact that he may be getting guarded by Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey, while could not lock up Julio Jones this week, he is a far worse receiver in Tyler Boyd. I think Tyler Boyd may get his ass locked down, but I'm still starting him in a lot of situations. Auden Tate, obviously, I think will be fine against the Rams. Rams defense as a whole is not all that amazing. I think Auden Tate will definitely be worthy of a start, more of a flex option. Cooper Kupp going to have a huge bounce back this week. Obviously hasn't been performing all that much up to your liking the last couple of weeks, but I think this week he is going to go and there's going to be a skull fucking of the Bengals defense at the hands of Cooper Kupp. Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, obviously also solid starts behind Cooper Kupp, but definitely guys that I am willing to start this week. Next game here is the Buccaneers at the Titans. What could have been the famous Jameis versus the Marcus Mariota matchup, but instead it is Mr. Famous Jameis, the man who is squinting on the sidelines, versus Ryan Tanny God, formerly of my Miami Dolphins. I'm going to be starting up Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in this game. Even against a tough Titans defense, obviously the Titans defense much better against the run. I think Chris Godwin is clearly the guy to start on that team. Jameis Winston loves throwing the ball his way. I think Mike Evans will get his as well. Had Mike Evans not have dropped a wide open ball thrown to him in that London game, Mike Evans' stat line 2 weeks ago when the last game happened would have been so much better. I think Mike Evans is in for a decent game as well. But A.J. Brown, he's got the because I think A.J. Brown may be able to perform against the Buccaneers defense. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill likes targeting A.J. Brown, so I would be willing to start him. But I'm going to be sitting down Corey Davis. Some people, they're going to try to get super cute, and unless you're in a super deep league, I don't want anything to do with Corey Davis. I told you guys in the offseason, if you were there, if you haven't been here since the offseason, you're just coming across the video now, make sure to click that subscribe button. But back then, I was telling everyone that Corey Davis is a sorry-ass wide receiver. And let me tell you, I still believe it. I don't see anything to believe that Corey Davis is a good receiver, so I'm sitting his ass straight down in fantasy football this week. Next game here is the Eagles at the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be starting up Alshon Jeffrey for the Eagles in this game. I know the Eagles looked like a certified dumpster fucking fire against their rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, last week on the Sunday Night Football game. But I think this week they have a kind of a bounce-back game. I still think the Bills end up coming up victorious in this game. But I think and by Carlos Hyde, I mean Carson Wentz is able to play good enough to get Alshon Jeffrey to get those points. Now, for the Bills, Josh Allen, I think, is going to go balls deep into this Eagles defense. The Eagles defense couldn't stop Dak Prescott. They certainly can't stop Joshy Allen this week. John Brown, Cole Beasley, both going to eat in this game. Obviously more comfortable with John Brown. He's definitely that down the field threat. If Josh Allen could somehow manage to connect on one of these downfield balls thrown to John Brown, that man may score 30 points every single game, because there's always that one ball where he's like 50 yards down the field. Josh Allen fucking heaves that shit like Uncle Rico and fucking just misses by 30 yards because John Brown is either too slow or, which obviously isn't true, Josh Allen is just fucking crazy. It just throws it way too far and is just overthrowing John Brown. So eventually, if that happens, I think John Brown will be in for a humongous game that week, and it could be this week against the Eagles. I'm definitely starting Cole Beasley. He's definitely a safer type of option, a guy that you know is going to score around 10 or 11 PPR points. And I'm going to be sitting down Nelson Aguilar. Now, that motherfucker has butter fingers. The candy may be named after that man because he is so bad. If D-Jax is back, I think I'd still let him ride the pine, away for him to get 100% healthy. Next game here is the Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to be starting Courtland Sutton in this matchup. Now, without Emmanuel Sanders, I think Courtland Sutton should be in for a pretty big matchup here. Obviously, drawing the best coverage on the team, but I still think that the Colts defense, while is good, they don't have that many elite corners or a guy that I think could really hurt Courtland Sutton in this game. And I love T.Y. Hilton in this game. I think T.Y. Hilton is going to eviscerate the Broncos defense. T.Y. Hilton is going to have quite a game this week. And I'm going to be sitting down Zach Pascal. Now, some people, they try to get gun heavy. They're fucking gunfire or whatever you say it. They try to get trigger heavy or trigger happy is what I should say, and try to start some guy that had one good game. Don't start fucking Zach Pascal because he had one good game. Just go ahead and let him ride the pine. You may have picked him up, just let him ride the pine. Even though this is a good matchup against the Broncos, you see what he does. Then maybe next week you go ahead and fire him up, but this week I am waiting on Mr. Zach Pascal. Next game here is the Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints, and I think that Larry Fitzgerald, while shit the bed last week, is definitely a start. This should be a bounce-back game for Mr. Kyler Murray. I think that Larry Fitz plays an okay game. Michael Thomas is an obvious start. Teddy Bridgewater loves throwing it to Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas may see the ball 15 times in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 15 fucking targets. He is going to get force-fed the ball. If Alvin Kamara is out, I like Michael Thomas even more. I'm going to be sitting down Christian Kirk in this game because I'm not sure if Christian Kirk's even going to play. And if he plays, I don't really trust him all that much yet. Just like I don't have too much trust in Larry Fitz, I considered making him a sit, but I don't think that the Saints defense is all that good. And I'm going to be sitting down Ted Ginn as well. Ted Ginn always has that potential to score that 50-yard bomb or that 60-yard bomb and end up being worthy of a start. But this week against the Cardinals, I'm not necessarily sure that that happens. Obviously, you have to worry about the fact that Michael Thomas is being shadowed by Patrick Peterson, but I'm not all that worried. Next game here is the Panthers at the 49ers, and you're just going to be sitting down everyone. I didn't even feel a need to list everyone. You're going to be saying DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and all those sorry-ass 49ers wide receivers until Emmanuel Sanders gets his ass onto the field. I don't want anything to do with any of these guys. DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are going to get locked up by the 49ers defense, and I don't think they have much to do. Debo Samuel, Dante Pettis, none of them are going to do anything either for the 49ers. Next game here is the Raiders at the Houston Texans. And I'm going to be starting up DeAndre Hopkins. D-Hop obviously finally, praise the fantasy fucking Lord, because DeAndre Hopkins finally had a good game. I think this week against the Raiders, he has another game where he can induce some serious skull fucking to Mr. Knock One Time if you're with me, or knock on wood if you're with me is what he says. John Gruden, he's going to beat the shit out of these guys. DeAndre Hopkins going to slap them up, I think, in this game. Kenny Stills also definitely worthy of a start because Will Fuller is going to be out for a bit of time, and Kenny Stills, in Will Fuller's absence, should be able to eat like his name was Ezekiel Elliott. You're going to be sitting down all of Oakland / Las Vegas. Obviously, they are moving to Las Vegas next year. The Oakland Raiders, they have no wide receivers while Tyrell Williams is out. The only guys you're going to be starting on that team is Josh Jacobs and Mr. Darren Waller. Next game here is the Browns at the New England Patriots. I'm going to be starting OBJ, but he is the on him because I think Stephen Gilmore might absolutely clamp his ass down. Well, I think the Browns will score more points than the Jets, so OBJ will get that opportunity to be worthy of a somewhat start. I am a bit nervous about that. Julian Edelman, on the other hand, I think should have a monster game this week. Obviously did not eat all that much against the Jets last week, but I think in this game it may be a bit closer, and they may want to throw the ball a bit more. I'm also going to be starting Philip Dorsett of the Patriots as long as Josh Gordon is out. Philip Dorsett obviously has been eating the last couple of games. I don't think Mohamed Sanu gets his ass into this game, so I think Philip Dorsett should be fine for this week and probably the last week you can start him. I'm going to be seeing down Jarvis Landry in this game. No way I'm starting him. No way Jose I'm starting him against the Patriots defense. And Flash Gordon, likely dead. Not going to be playing him. He probably will be back in a couple of weeks. Next game here is the Packers at the Kansas City Chiefs, and this would have been a matchup of the century here. Pat Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Instead, Pat Mahomes is going to be watching from home because he is not okay. I'm going to be starting Davante Adams in this game if he is back. If he finally makes his gracious return, I think he'll be in for a huge game against the Kansas City defense. Knock one time if you're with me. I love Davante Adams this week if he's healthy. Tyreek Hill, obviously having to deal with fucking Matt Moore, but even with Matt Moore, Tyreek Hill can still get hit deep down the field. We saw Matt Moore do it last week. I think that he can do it this week as well. I'm going to be sitting MVS and Geronimo for the Packers. Alan Lazard also getting the bench if Davante Adams is in the game. I'm also going to be sitting down Demarcus Robinson, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, any of those other Chiefs wide receivers. I only really have trust in Tyreek and Mr. Travis Kelce for that Chiefs offense. Next game here is the Dolphins at the Steelers, the final matchup, the Monday night matchup. My Miami Dolphins at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I seen the forecast a bit of a skull fucking. I see that the Steelers just ram the Dolphins into submission. Juju Smith-Schuster may finally play a good game in fantasy football. You're going to start him this week, and you're going to sell him as fast as you can. Get him the fuck straight off your team. Juju is going to dominate against the Dolphins this week. And I'm going to be starting Preston Williams with the and Devontae Parker with the Devontae Parker has scored a touchdown in each of the last 3 games, so that's obviously some upside. And Preston Williams is a guy that's going to get you 9 or 10 points, so you could do a lot worse than him. And I'm sitting down Deontay Johnson and the rest of those sorry-ass Steelers wide receivers. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. You know I love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your night, and by rest of your night, I mean the rest of your day. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Make sure to come back for videos later. I love you all. Goodbye.